Hey everyone, Sam here, also known as Mr. Stainless001, and today we're back talking about Shadow of War. The game has just been announced within the past couple of weeks, but more information about what will be possibly in the game has already begun trickling out onto the web. Today I'm going to be sharing 20 things that we know about the game and what we can expect upon release. But before I do, if you want to join the community here on the channel and find like-minded gamers to chat about games, life, or just find other people to play with, then feel free to join my Discord. Link is in the video description. I'm on there every day chatting with you guys about all of these things. Now before we get into this, I want to point out that all of this information is coming from the live stream that the developers did on the game's announcement week. This is all information that they discussed and shared. If you want to read a succinct roundup of what they said, there's a great Reddit post from a Redditor called Call Me Joker on the Shadow of Mordor subreddit. I'll leave you a link to it in the video description. Be sure to check it out if you want to read through this information in greater detail. Firstly, there will be multiple areas which are unlocked through the conquering of the fortresses, which are all larger than the regions we had access to in Shadow of Mordor. Each of these regions will have their own missions and side quests, and the regions will change depending on the overlord you put in place. I think this is pretty cool, and something that I thought could have been hinted at in the 16 minutes of gameplay we saw. I think it's really cool to see Monolith expanding their horizons, more or less literally, really, here in Shadow of War. And I think having these multiple regions will definitely add more variety to the game. It'll be interesting to see how the region's appearances change based on our overlords, or the overlords that we put in power. Number 2, you will be able to save your Uruk captains and war chiefs from dying. I think we were all touched, all moved, when we saw the Destroyer of Hearts, the Destroyer of Emotions, Aslar the Destroyer, get fried to a crisp in the gameplay presentation. However, the devs have said that in the full release, it will be possible for Uruks that perhaps fall or are injured in battle to be patched up and retreat or fight further, depending on how strong they are. I assume that this won't just be an in-battle mechanic. I can see how this could work if perhaps your captain goes down in battle, and in the battle summary menu afterwards there's an option to perhaps heal or tend to one of your captains to see if you can help them recover. Either way, this all sounds pretty cool. Thirdly, one thing I discussed in last week's video, chatting about the new abilities we seem to have in game, was how your Uruk captains can come in to save you during the duels with the overlords. I didn't really understand how that was triggered or how it worked. Well, some clarification was given here. Your followers can be given the role of a bodyguard and can be called in to help, like we saw. Equally, if you're in open battle and they can see you and reach you in time, they will come to your aid. That's pretty cool, and it's great to see greater clarification, or hear greater clarification on that mechanic as well. Number 4, the way the betrayal mechanics will work is that for certain actions you take throughout the game, certain Uruks in your army will like the decision you've made and others won't. For example, if you promote Dave, I'm not going to make up Uruk names, I'm just going to call them normal names, which I wish you could rename them in game and just call all your war chiefs Dave and Keith and stuff. But if you promote Dave to war chief, but Keith thinks he should have been promoted, obviously, Keith won't like that and will be more likely to join Dark Lord. Other ways to encourage their betrayal are leaving them behind, wounded on the battlefield, or retreating without them, which is understandable, really. Number 5, some Uruks in the game will follow you without having to brand them. They'll simply follow you because they like you, or because they really dislike Sauron. Number 6, there will be approximately up to 20 fortresses in the game for us to capture, which, according to point 1, means that there's probably going to be up to 20 regions for us in the game to explore. Potentially. We'll have to wait and see. Number 7, ring wraiths will be in the game. I'm not looking forward to this at all, and you'll be able to fight them. However, chances are this will only be in story missions. Likelihood is you won't find them walking around the land for you to bump into, which I'm incredibly grateful for. One thing I wouldn't be... I mean, the ghouls in Shadow of Mordor, I already struggled with, and they kind of freaked me out. So the possibility of just walking around, free roaming at night, and all of a sudden a ring wraith appears out of nowhere, just gives me shivers down my spine. I would not look forward to that. Please, devs, don't. Just don't. Number 8, as I thought in my first impressions video, your fortresses can be attacked and reclaimed by the Dark Lord. Number 9, Drekks will exist in free roam and can be used without restriction. Number 10, every Uruk leader you have in your army can be trained and upgraded into different classes. This is pretty cool. At the moment, we know of 2 ways to do this, either by making them a different class, for instance, from a Beastmaster to a Necromancer, perhaps, or by upgrading them to a higher tier. So, for instance, if you had Dave, our great Uruk war chief, and he was a Beastmaster, upgrading him so that he could go from commanding a Karagor to perhaps commanding a Drake, which would be pretty cool, and actually that would be pretty awesome, seeing your Uruk war chief riding a Drake through the skies into battle. Holy crap. Okay, let's hope they do that. That would be pretty awesome. You can also upgrade your Uruk leader's gear as well. It'd be interesting to see though if you can give them gear that you've found in the world, if that's transferable. We'll have to wait and see. Number 11, the devs did point out, as a bit of housekeeping, that during the 16 minutes of gameplay, they were using a God mode during the gameplay showcase. A lot of people were questioning this and wondering why it was so easy. This was why. They had infinite health and arrows and executions, mainly because they didn't want to constantly die when they were trying to show us the game. Makes sense, really. Number 12, your fortresses are upgradable, and it is possible to change out the defenses. You could recreate the defenses that you saw in the 16 minutes of gameplay, but we'll likely have other defensive options too that they'll show us in time. A fully upgraded castle, as you would expect, will be much harder to take, obviously, but it will also allow more war chiefs to defend it, which is pretty cool. Number 13, and one that I care about greatly as a bearded man, Talion will get his beard back. Thank goodness. Number 14, Uruks who have a weakness do have the potential to die instantly when they come into contact with it. For example, if Dave, our brilliant war chief, has a weakness to fire, he may die instantly when he gets engulfed in flame. Number 15, wounds on the Uruks will be more detailed than in Shadow of Mordor and will have greater variety. For instance, if an Uruk is mauled to death by a Grog, that'll look different than one who's just been stabbed by a sword, for example. That's something I'm looking forward to. Really interested in seeing the different variety that we can have there, and also interested to see how the appearance of the Uruks will change as well. Number 16, Overlords can be taken over or branded rather than just being taken out completely. This is pretty cool. Number 17, the Balrog is an in-game entity and will show up at some point. It wasn't just shown as part of a cutscene. I know a lot of people in the subreddit and in the YouTube comments had been wondering whether the Balrog was just shown off as a showcase plot, looks cool device. No, the Balrog is going to be in game. Again, I'm not looking forward to fighting him. Hopefully it's going to prove a bit of a challenge. We'll just have to wait and see. 18, Talion will interact with his Uruks more, and we can expect to see a development of the relationships there over time as well. Number 19, Uruks no longer need to be grabbed in order to be branded. Number 20, finally, if you have an army of high-level Uruks and you're going against an army of low-level Uruks, for instance, if your Uruks are level like 30, 40, and you're going up a low-level castle that's, say, about level 10, level 5, you can pretty much just sit back and let them do all the work for you, and then just go in and kill the Overlord, which is pretty cool. Basically just bring out the Sun Lounger, get an iced tea, and watch the world burn, really. So folks, those are 20 things we already know about Middle-earth Shadow of War. The devs have said that they will be doing more Q&As and streams in the weeks and months to come in order to let us know more about the game. But until then, what do you think of some of these new and improved mechanics? Let me know down in the comments below. In the meantime, if this is the first time you've came across my channel, you are so welcome. Feel free to hit that subscribe button and you'll be kept notified of when new videos go out. I do intend to try and cover Shadow of War as much as possible in the run-up to launch, and we will be doing a playthrough here on the channel as well whenever the game comes out. But for now, I hope you're having a great week, and I'll see you soon.